Welcome to the official catch-up. Today I've got Josh Morris of Civil Service Strollers. How are you doing, Josh?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good. Doing good, mate. How are you getting through this, mate?
Well, it's been a bit tricky, I suppose, in terms of just being stuck in the house. But at a personal level, it's actually been a bit of a blessing. I'm kind of finishing off my fourth year at university, so I'm in the midst of my dissertation. So it's kind of gave me a reason to kind of sit and just get that finished. So I'm a little bit boring at times, just being stuck. But we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, and I believe you're doing something. It's something to do with like sports management or something, is it?
Yeah, it's sports management I'm studying, so it kind of related to football and stuff as well.
And as for your career, Josh, I believe you started at Tynecastle.
That was back when I was about 17, 18. I've racked up a fair few clubs since then, but yeah. So I started at Tynecastle. I'm sure I was 17, 18. I was kind of the old school East of Scotland league when it was before the Lowland was set up. It was really competitive, and there was a lot of really, really good teams and players kicking about the East of Scotland at that point. And I went in as a kid, really, and it was a bit of a shock to the system, to be honest. But it was a good learning curve for me because I had experience of kind of a wee bit of pro youth, but nothing full time wise. So I was always used to kind of playing my age group, and that was a real shock to the system. It kind of been dropped in the deep end as such, playing against men who weren't afraid to kick you.
So I saw your picture on Twitter. I think it's great what some of the players are doing, obviously sharing pictures.
Yeah.
But your time at Berwick, obviously being at Ibrox, I saw that on your Twitter feed, mate.
Yeah, I know. I think that was one I'll take to the grave. I think I was fortunate enough during that season. I started off at the reserves at Berwick. I'd kind of scored quite a few, and I think by about February or March time, I'd been moved into the first team pretty much permanently. And at that point, also Rangers were in the third division, so I was always kind of hopeful. I knew we had Rangers; it was the last game of the season, and I was always kind of hopeful that I might at least be in the squad, even just to go. And the way it worked out, it kind of it could have been better. I could have started, but to be fair, I got 15 minutes at the end, which was some experience. But in the next season, they've been promoted, but we actually drew Rangers in I think it was the Ramsden's Cup at that point. So I was fortunate enough to get a chance to play there twice. So it was some experience, and one I'll kind of, as I said, take to the grave.
Yeah, and another team we know, you obviously moved on to Vale of Leven for a wee bit, but then you sort of took a break and you were with Kelty for a wee bit. I never actually knew that about you, Josh. I never knew you were at Kelty. I had been I heard about that not recently, but certainly this season.
Yeah, I think that one's a bit. I did take a break for almost a season. I started the season at Vale, and due to work commitments at the time, I stopped playing for probably about 9 months. And it was towards the end of the same season. I knew Steph Winiarski at Kelty through my brother, and it was one of those where he just said, look, just to keep fit, come and train with us and keep yourself ticking over, because it was just up the road. So I kind of did that, and I got kind of chatting to Tam at the time, and I knew a few of the players at that point. And it was one of them that just kind of snowballed over the summer that it turned out that I ended up signing. But if I'm being honest, it was probably a bit of a mistake because my work commitment hadn't really settled down, and I probably was kind of kidding myself on a wee bit that I could commit to the level that was needed at that point, which was difficult. So that I think, to be fair, I think I only played maybe about 3 or 4 games before I had to kind of say to Tam that, look, I need to kind of take a step back here. And again, I took another step back from football for maybe 3 or 4 months, and that was kind of when the strange move to Hoyt came about. Location geographically, a bit of a strange one considering from Dunfermline, but I think Murph that you were speaking to the other day, saying it was kind of Dean Shanks and that I've known for a good few years before that, took me down there, and at that point they were obviously, he'd just taken over, they were struggling a little bit, and it was one of those where, because he kind of knew what I could do, he was like, look, if you can't make training, don't worry, if you can make a Saturday, great, just to help us out. And it kind of just went from there, really.
Yeah, and Murph obviously described the the time you beat Berwick Rangers in the Scottish Cup, and I believe you got a hat-trick against your former team.
Yeah, aye, that was, again, that was another day I'll not forget in a hurry. Murph said a lot of it, to be fair. I don't think any of us could really have dreamt what happened. I think we always believed that one of those, you're never going to a game thinking you can't win. But I think we knew it was going to be difficult, and we were just there to enjoy the day. But there was certain things the week before that. We were hearing a lot of comments. They came to watch us, I think, the week before, and there was comments about the team and certain individuals, and then there was paper articles saying that like we should beat them every day of the week and all this sort of stuff. And it kind of just all gradually built into a wee bit of extra motivation for us.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think if you look back at the game, if I'm right in thinking, the second half they absolutely battered us, and I think they had a goal chopped off that would have been an equaliser. But it's a cup game. One of them, anything can happen, and that day it was lucky for us. But what a day! I was actually texting one of the boys, Sean Conahan. He was the captain for that season for us. We're just kind of reminiscing about it a wee bit, because it was one of those days that, again, as a group of players, we still regularly, well, not now with the lockdown, but we regularly meet up for a wee night out or a bite to eat or whatever, just because of how good a changing room it was that we had down there.
That's excellent, mate. And obviously, I kind of touched on it with Murph and a lot of the other guys, but it's becoming less and less of a shock for the likes of your East of Scotland, Lowland League, Highland League teams, West of Scotland, I'm assuming, when they come into it, to beat the likes of the league teams.
As you said, you've seen a few over the year, like in the last few years, they've got more and more common, these kind of supposedly short results.
Yeah.
But I think when you look at it now, the quality of the players that are playing at that level, the gap's actually not that big. And I think players that are playing League 2, League 1, maybe not so much Championship, but especially kind of League 2, League 1, sometimes it's not necessarily talent that's the difference. It's maybe a mindset or an attitude or just personal circumstances that makes them at that level as opposed to the Lowland League or whatever. So I think when it comes to that angle of it, I think that's why there are more results like that. And I think especially with the strength of the league getting better and stronger, I think you're only going to see more.
Yeah. And obviously you came back to obviously more local to yourself in senior football to Kine Beef after that wee sort of spell. How did it go at Kine Beef?
A roller coaster is one way to describe it for myself. I was signed by Gary Locke at the time, and we kind of went in starting, I think 3 weeks into pre-season. I was flying fit, I was scoring goals, and then he came in after a game and said he was leaving. So I think straight away it kind of put me right on on edge as such. And then the last pre-season game we had, it was Billy Brown that took over. I then had a really bad injury. A goalkeeper kind of smashed into me, and I got a big hematoma on my leg, and I was out for about maybe 6 or 7 weeks. So it kind of just went from there really, and obviously, you can see it was just a roller coaster of emotions as such. It didn't quite work out, but I don't regret it in any way. I think it was a good experience. Certainly playing for a local team as such that were in the leagues, but it was just an unfortunate position we were in. But I think I was there for 7 months, and in 7 months I had 4 managers, in terms of include caretakers as well. So that kind of sets the tone for it. It wasn't just me in that boat. I think there was a lot of boys, and it was a point where I had to kind of look after myself at one point in terms of injuries were doing me no favours. I wasn't really performing, and it just got, I kind of bit the bullet and thought I need to just get back playing and enjoying it.
Yeah, and you've had obviously spells in the Lowland League and in the East of Scotland, obviously with the likes of Whitehill, Gala Ferrydean, and then obviously Hill of Beef. Did you get any sort of pelters previously being at Kelty?
No, I think as you, mate, I'll probably now actually with a few of the guys. As I said, I'm still in touch with a few of them, like say Joe and Leash that you're speaking to. So I'm sure I'll get a wee bit pelters for that, I suppose, now that you've mentioned it. But I think as you said, it was quite of a kind of a quiet one where not many people actually realise that I ever was at Kelty. But although saying that, I think when I did sign with Hillabeath, there was maybe a wee bit of kind of with the committee there. They maybe thought, "Oh, this guy's came over the hill and he's playing for both of us," kind of thing. One of those things. But nah, I know it was just a bit of a joke. But I don't know, it never really affected me as such. Nobody really mentioned it, and I certainly never really thought too much about it.
Yeah, Joe Kirby. Oh God, it's gonna hurt my dreams after this. Nah, he's a fantastic guy, and Sean as well. Sean Leishman,
yeah,
absolute brilliant guy. Like
the two. I mean, as they said it as well. I think that was one of the kind of downsides of leaving Hillabeath at the start of this season was the fact the changing room was brilliant. I think the kind of camaraderie and Joe's stories and jokes, as bad as they can be, really honest, like that changing room was brilliant. I think it's testament again, like I said, with the Hoyk changing room, I still keep in touch with guys that I played with at Hillabeath because of that, and that kind of something that sticks with you. So yeah, definitely it's they're characters, but they're good guys.
Yeah, and one thing I was quite interested to know, because I know obviously your season with Civil, I've spoke to Sparky. We don't tend to do a lot of the Edinburgh coverage because of the Edinburgh football podcast and respect to them kind of thing. But did you know Cammy Muirhead back then when you were at Cowdenbeath?
Aye, so I kind of, funnily enough, over that kind of pre-season when Gary Lott was there, we didn't have the biggest squad in a few games. It was me and Cammy that were actually up front for the majority of pre-season, and we were both playing really well and doing well. So I kind of knew him from that period, and obviously he kind of stays just up the road from me. So when I went to Civil, I actually didn't know it when I'd first agreed to sign with Civil. I didn't really know he was actually there at that point because they hadn't really released it. So it was kind of one of those where it came together when we both both announced sort of thing. It just became, it was quite good because you had that kind of comfort of knowing someone already there.
Yeah. I did wonder about that. I mean, I don't really know Cammy, like well or that, but yeah, he's some. I know for a fact he's some character. That's all I'll say. But
he's another one. He's a really good lad. We travelled together with Josh Donaldson as well from Dundee United.
Yeah.
So that was our kind of like a car school to training at Civil. Some of the conversations that went on in that car they would make headlines, I think.
The funny thing I always say about Josh Donaldson is like if he's shouting at Kyle Field, be like, "Come on, Kyle," or whatever. But for some reason, every time he shouts at Andy Mayer, he uses his full name. He's like Andy Mayer, and it's really strange. I don't know why he does that. I don't know if it's maybe just he likes Andy's name or something. But
it's funny saying that about a goalkeeper shouting at. Like I think with Josh, there was one day where I think it was when I was injured. I cracked 2 ribs in November, so I spent a lot of time on the sideline, kind of watching. And I spent a lot of time behind the goal. And I remember turning around to someone saying, "Is Josh always that loud during games?" I think it was Kyle Fee actually that was beside me. And he said, "Oh, aye, he's like non-stop, like it's all you can hear during the game." And I was like, I've never heard them because I'm always up the other end of the park and I never pay attention to what daft goalies are shouting.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I tend not to hear a lot of goalies too, but certainly Josh is one of them that I've certainly makes his mark on the pitch if the defenders are annoying him or whatever. So, but
he's always been a good goalie as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that he's certainly one of the top keepers in the league, and I know he's only on loan, obviously, from Dundee United. They had a spell with Civil last year, so hopefully, he'll be with them again. But obviously, a lot of things up in the air at the moment. But did you see my team of the year? What were your thoughts? I've been asking guys this.
I know, to be fair, I saw a few pelters you were getting for the team. To be honest, it's one of those where I think it's hard to argue against the team, to be honest with you. I think the guys that you've got in there, there's a lot of match winners there. I think some of them are undeniable. I think you could certainly make cases for the likes of Dean Brett perhaps, like he was in it, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't.
Yeah. For example, you could make arguments for like loads of different players, but I think changes I'd make the likes of Dean Brett, I think, for what he offers going forward and in defence that I've seen personally playing against him, I think that would probably be maybe the standout for me that maybe was missing from it. But as you said, you could sit here for hours on end arguing about players to be in or out. And I like Kyle Fee's one though, but I'd love to see the wage budget for that.
Kyle's a great guy. Always we throw a bit of shade on Kyle sometimes too, but he's not been bad with the back passes this season. So he's
cut them out a wee bit.
So but that was probably the most sort of pelters I got because no including Dean Brett and obviously no playing. It was mainly from Bonnyrigg to be fair. No playing Jonathan.
Yeah.
Jonathan Brown over Scott Linton, but what can you do? Scott Linton scored 18 goals this season, you know what I mean?
I know, it's one of them as well. I think, as you said, you could sit and make arguments for Brown. You've got like Lee Curry as well, who pops up with goals. I played with him at Berwick. You've got loads of players from the kind of top. I wouldn't even say top half or whatever. All through the league, you could go through teams and pick one or two that you could say deserve to be in it for certain circumstances. But I think it's like the SPFL. You're probably not going to make everyone happy, are you?
Yeah. I said it to Sparky, and I do mean it, and it's been an issue with Civil for me anyway. You guys play like a proper unit, so I think it's always hard to take one player and pick them and put in a team of the month or whatever. Certainly, obviously Cammy's impressed. Yourselves got goals, and then obviously I think some of the younger boys. I think Ryan Shanley done really well. Callum Yates done fantastic, and then. But the thing with Civil this season is you've had like a lot of injuries. I've probably mentioned a lot of the names, obviously, but even including like Ross Guthrie as well was injured for a wee bit as well. So you've sometimes struggled to get a team, basically.
Yeah, I think Sparky alluded to it, I think, saying the amount of injuries we had at times. I think at the start of the season we kind of had a real strong unit. We knew like what everybody was doing, what everybody's job was. We worked together. And it kind of just slowly, it was like domino effects. One got injured, so then we had to move positions for people, and we changed formation. And not that it was formations that killed us. I think it was just sometimes I think we were turning up to games and we had to fill the bench with 20s. And not that there's nothing wrong with it. I think that's good, obviously, exposure for them. But it just shows you that the strength and depth for the top teams to what we had at times, because the sheer amount of injuries just killed us. I think when you look at the games against the top teams that we had, bar maybe a couple of freak results, there was not much in games. Even when we did have like injuries, obviously more kind of the last game we played against Bonnyrigg, although they put us under pressure, we again had a goal disallowed in the last second that could have won it. So it's one of them where there's different, like there's games that we could have won, but we've lost for whatever reason. So there's not too much in between the teams, but it was just frustrating because of the injuries. Obviously now it doesn't really matter too much for the kind of the situation we're in.
And you're talking. It was kind of like similar with Shire, I think, but I think you've been unlucky in certain games. I know probably BSC comes to mind with a few soft penalties, and there was obviously a Kelty game. That's obviously down to officials, and everyone's had their say there. But
yeah, there's loads of, as you say, you could. In hindsight's great in football because you can say the referee done this and we done that, and we should have done this, and it's all ifs and buts. But I think that shows us when we do look back at it and kind of evaluate. You do say that there wasn't much between us, and I think you hope that whether it's next season or whatever, the next time you play them, that things kind of turn around and you get the kind of the luck of the draw kind of thing. But it's all ifs and buts, isn't it?
Yeah. And just sort of moving on, I kind of ask everyone this, but are you looking forward to sort of the west of Scotland coming in and potentially playing some of these teams?
Yeah, I think it's quite an exciting time. I think everybody saw a similar thing when the East of Scotland thing kicked off, in terms of all the junior clubs and all that kind of jumping across. It creates a little bit of a buzz. it makes it more competitive. Players, I think there's a lot more options for players now, especially east of Scotland, whether it's kind of to play more regularly, which makes it more competitive. I think it'll only get stronger with the West clubs coming on board. I think you've got obviously some of the giants through there that are coming on board with it. I think the prospect of some of them being in the lowland and playing against lowland teams is quite exciting. I think it'll just add to the kind of strength and depth of the whole kind of pyramid setup.
Yeah. And have you got any sort of thoughts on what's happened in the Lowland League? I know it's kind of, before I had been asking folk and it was all up in the air sort of thing, but now it's obviously been decided that Kelty have got the title. Have you got any sort of opinions on that, mate?
I think it's a difficult one, as I say, because you're not going to make everyone happy. I think I don't necessarily personally agree with giving people titles but not relegating. You either do one or the other. In terms of it's either all or nothing. I think because, but then at the same time, because you've not played the full amount of games, what are you meant to do? Because let's be honest, I think especially with the kind of recent developments, you're not going to get all the games played, especially at our level with the kind of setup it is. It's just not going to happen for teams, especially if you're wanting next season to start relatively on time, whatever happens. So it's a difficult one because you're never going to make everyone happy. I think obviously Kelty were, was it 5-6 points clear at that point?
Six points clear, aye.
Six. Also, the other game in hand, and they're still to play Bonnyrigg, and it's the same again though. It's all ifs and buts, but I think what I would say, I think there has got to be some sort of collaboration with SPFL in terms of an opportunity to go up, because it defeats the purpose of having a pyramid system if Kelty are champions now. If you're giving them the league but saying they can't go up or not got an opportunity to go up, what's the point of it? And I think, yes, no one's been in this situation before, but at the same time, if you're giving the league titles to Dundee United and Raith Rovers and Cove and Kelty, but you're letting off the top three go up, but you're not letting Kelty have a chance to go up, I think it just defeats the purpose of it. So I think there's got to be some sort of leeway in terms of that, whether it's reconstruction. I think that's the best option for everyone, not just for Kelty. I think taking out the fact that I'm a Hearts fan, that's nothing to do with that. I just mean in general across the board. I think you've got to take into consideration the fact that I think reconstruction is probably the best way forward for Scottish football.
Yeah, agreed, mate. And it is tough. It's obviously tough with these decisions. But to be fair, we've been pretty critical of the whole thing. But if it came to light that the likes of Bo'ness or Broxburn or Hill of Beef wouldn't get a chance to come up to the Lowland League, we would be critical of the Lowland League as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the whole thing. You look at the pyramid structure, the whole idea of it is that you can move up, you can move down. I think even before this all started, I think there should have always been, from League 2 down to the Lowland League, there should have always been an automatic one up, one down, because that's what happens in every other league, in every other country. I think that's an argument for maybe another day. But at the same time, when you go down to the east of Scotland, it's totally unfair to say that none of them can go up. So I know the Lowland League have announced that it'll be a 17 league league next year.
Yeah.
But at the same time, so every team next year is going to have a free week, 1 week. Do you know what I mean? So for me, that doesn't make sense. Why not just make it even again and have a look at like the league table? It's a hard one because you're then saying going to, whoever's not making the cut is going to be aggrieved. But I think you've certainly got to look at it and kind of try and make it even as possible all across the board.
Yeah, and I think I'm not sure if the 17 league thing depends on if Kelty go up or not, if that makes sense.
Exactly. So if they go up, obviously they will need to promote two, and how do they choose the two? Because I don't know the ins and outs of the East of Scotland table, but I know that Bo'ness are ahead just now by a way. But I know Hill of Beef have loads of games kind of in hand.
Yeah.
So it's you can go back to the Partick Thistle one. Like they've got a game in hand, 2 points away for kind of safety as such, but they've been relegated. So it's one of them where there's got to be consistency across the board, and that's where, to be fair, I think in Scotland there's far too many like organisations. There's the FFA, there's SPFL, there's the Lowland League East of Scotland.
Yeah,
that's why nobody's got a clue what's actually going on. But as I said, that's an argument for another day probably.
Yeah. It's an interesting point, Josh, because like the Highland League and Lowland League can make their own decisions, obviously, but the SPFL can come in and obviously mandate certain things to the Lowland League or the Highland League, and it's like, well, are we separate or are we all together? You know, it's
exactly
tough.
Yeah. Because I think obviously in the Lowland League statement that they mentioned that they had discussions with SPFL. So in light of what's happened recently, does that mean the SPFL have kind of forced their hand a wee bit to kind of say, oh, you start us off by confirming your league finished and we'll follow, or what? You just don't know. And I think that's where it's got to be a bit more transparent for everyone, because no one knows where they stand. And I think it's just there's too many people involved and there's too many agendas that people are trying to kind of have an influence on, and that's where the problem lies, I think.
Yeah, and in fairness to the Stenhouse Muir chairman, we obviously kind of called him out today, and I don't like calling people out or whatever, but he answered my questions. I was quite satisfied with what he had to say, but I suspect, like he obviously mentioned, he hopes Kelty and Brora come up, but saying and doing things behind closed doors, let's see if he keeps his word, basically, you know what I mean?
I know, exactly, because that's the thing. It's like, as I said before all this, having the one up, one down from League 2 to Lowland, League needs League 2 teams to vote for it, and like turkeys don't vote for Christmas, do they? So you've got, they don't want that, because there's a chance they can go down. We've seen what's happened to Berwick. I'm glad they've kind of stabilised a wee bit, but they kind of, and like the likes of East Stirling's taken them years to even get to a place where they can challenge for the Lowland League. So it's a hard one, because they're not going to vote for it, but it needs to happen for consistency. And as you said, I think you hope people just keep their word on certain things, but you never know. You're never going to. People will kind of duck and dive to get their own way at times, won't they?
Yeah, and this is why. It's hard to sort of get these people on. Obviously, they can write your sort of newsletters and stuff like that. But I would like to get certain people on and discuss it, because I think we're quite transparent, and you know, unless something changes my mind, obviously I'll admit that I was maybe wrong, or if my minds have changed. But I tend to sort of stick with my same beliefs, and you know, I'm not above scrutiny either. If I say something that's wrong, I'll end up, you know, saying, all right, well, I've got that wrong, you know. But I think there's too many people that are kind of like, they probably know they're wrong, and just, you know, they you know, they kind of like try to stay away from the scrutiny and the criticism, you know. So
when you say something, I think, as I said, being a Hearts fan, people are like, oh, you'll know want Hearts to go down. I'm like, to be fair, it doesn't affect me that much. If they go down, they go down. Like, they probably deserve it, to be honest. But you can't relegate Hearts, Partick, Stranraer, and not relegate Brecon. But at the moment, that's what's happening. Or obviously, Hearts, the Premiership's a different case at the moment. But you've relegated the other two, but you're saying to Brecon, oh, you're safe because, well, it's the Lowland League. But it's just, that's when it comes really kind of awkward, and I think that's where there's got to be a bit of fairness and a bit of kind of equality about it. So if you are giving leagues out and you are relegating some, you need to relegate them all. You can't just say some and not others. So it's a funny one. I'm sure it'll go on for months as well over summer.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have a lot of talking to do for however long this lasts. I mean, another 3 weeks. Subo actually broke the news to me when I was speaking to him yesterday, the unfortunate news. But I will, as long as we sort of keep conversation going and keep chatting away to each other, and you know, if anyone's ever down or whatever, I'm easy to get on the DMs and stuff. I say the same to a few of the boys in that, but like, I think if we're doing these sort of things and keeping people's minds off it, then we'll get through this. We'll get through it together, So
exactly, I think that's the thing. Everybody's in the same boat. I don't think there's anyone out there that's not been affected by this, whether it be work, whether it's also football, whatever it is. And I think the thing is that we all know it will end. It's just we don't know when. But the thing is, if you just, as you said, talking and keeping yourselves active and busy is kind of the best thing for it.
Well, thanks for coming on and speaking, Josh. It was great.
No problem. Enjoyed it.
We might have to get like parts 2 and 3 with some of the boys that we've had on, like, so.
No, that's fine. No problem.
Stay safe, mate, and all the best around.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I appreciate that.